So I came across Honky Tonkaholics through my good friend, songwriter friend, and producer, Andrew Scott Wills. He got pitched some songs for me by Sony. I just went through and listened to all of them. And I get to one song, and there's this badass guitar riff I hear. And then this guy starts saying it sounds just like Chris Stapleton. I'm like, damn, is that Chris Stapleton? Sure enough, it was Chris Stapleton, man.
They said the first step is that you got to admit it. I'll be the first to admit that I ain't gonna quit it. A jukebox to me might as well be a narcotic. I'm a honky-tonk-aholic.
Chris Stapleton and Brett Beavers wrote a song called Honky Tonkaholics. I'm listening to it, and it's talking about, dance hall crowds and outlaw women and everything. It's one of the most badass songs I've ever heard. I said, well, yeah, it's pretty obvious I'm going to cut that. So first time I heard it that day, I was like, yeah, if I can cut that song, I want to cut it. So it's been one of my favorite songs I've ever recorded, and it's definitely one of the most fun to play with a band, and my band loves playing it. So I'm glad everybody has been enjoying it and sharing it. It's, to this day, probably will always be one of my favorite songs I've ever done.